Hey, what's going on, SWAC fans? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, and welcome to the State of the SWAC podcast. This is the first episode of the State of the SWAC podcast for the 2021 season. And we're going to kick off the first episode by breaking down Alcorn State versus North Carolina Central. The North Carolina Central Eagles knocking off the Alcorn State Braves by a score of 23-14. And this game right here, I have to say, um, it's a little bit of a shocker, man. A lot of people thought that Alcorn State was going to come and they were going to exercise some of those demons that they have, man. There was two demons that the Alcorn State Braves are trying to exercise. Number one, uh, their inability to be successful in the city of Atlanta, and number two, being able to get off that snide when it comes to North Carolina teams. They cannot get past those North Carolina teams, man. And so Alcorn going to Atlanta, going up against the North Carolina Central University Eagles. And a lot of people thought that this was going to be a little bit of a cakewalk, especially some of those that are alumni and students at Alcorn State. Look, Alcorn State is not a surprise, right? We know that they decided to opt out during the spring. They didn't want to play. And you had a lot of the fan base of Alcorn saying that they were the real champions. The real champions set out. They talked about things about them wanting to smoke and all that kind of stuff there. But I want to say this, and I want to make this perfectly clear. You have to be able to go out there and you have to perform. Nobody is going to see you walk on the field with the purple and gold on and just think that you're going to have these people quivering in their boots. This is a well-respected team. These guys have a lot of pride, and they took it upon themselves to go out there and play the best game possible. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, man. There was a lot of sloppy football on both sides of both sides. So, you know what I'm saying? Rather it was the Eagles or the Braves, man. I'm looking at some of these stats right now. You know, I'm just looking at them. I'm looking at the quarterback Harper from Alcorn. I mean, he was 17 of 27, 154 yards and 2 touchdowns. But I have to say, man, he did not play well in this game. You know, I mean, a lot of the passes that he threw, you know, he wasn't as accurate as he once was. He was able to flush out of the pocket and extend some plays, but it was mostly about the running game, man. They had a big, huge run, you know, by Anderson. Anderson drove down the field. He had a longer 68 yards. And this is right here. This is when you know that you're going up against a team with a lot of pride. Okay, I mean, it was a big run. I mean, it started off, I think they were maybe on the 3-yard line, and this guy breaks off, Anderson breaks off for about 68 yards. And the Eagles could have easily just gave up on the play, but you seen guys hunt this guy down and tackle him, and it paid dividends, man. You know, you had Alcorn in the first half, man. They had 3 trips to the red zone and could not cash in on it. If you are that team, you have to be able to execute, and you have to be able to punch in some field goals as well as some touchdowns in the red zone. What the Braves did, they kept the Eagles' hope alive, man, because they was able to stall them. You know, they was able to bend but not break. And when you give a team opportunities like this, they start to go in the back of their minds like, hey, man, we can actually win this football game. And you seen these guys out here. It wasn't one guy taking over the game for the Eagles. It was a collection of things. Their quarterback, at the same time, I mean, he didn't play well either. I mean, he had a couple plays that I seen Richards. I seen a couple plays that he had. I mean, he had receivers and tight ends wide open, man. He was overthrowing and underthrowing these guys. But he was able to utilize the RPO game along with the running game and also that big, huge play on special teams towards the end of the game in order for them to get the win. Hopefully, this is a wake-up call for the Alcorn State Braves, and hopefully they realize that people are out for them right now. You know, the SWAC is wide open. You've seen a lot of teams in the spring get a little bit better. You have teams like Alabama State, Alabama A&M. You got Arkansas Pine Bluff, PV. These teams are getting better, and they are adding to these teams. And not to mention, you know, teams like Jackson State as well. So Alcorn has a huge target on their back. And you have teams out there that are trying to measure themselves against Alcorn. I mean, it's no surprise, man. From 2010 to the present, Alcorn has really been one of the best teams in the SWAC. And this is hard for me to say, me coming from Jackson State University, but nevertheless, man, you got to call it for what it is. They have been dominating the SWAC over the last decade, and they've done an outstanding job. Coach McNair has done an outstanding job, turning this program around, turning them into a winning program once again. And they really have been the standard bearers out here, man. So you have a lot of teams that are trying to measure themselves up against the Braves, and you cannot come after 600 plus days of not playing football thinking that you're about to just come out here and just dominate. Hopefully, this was a wake up call for the Braves, and they realize that they cannot have games like this anymore. There's no excuse for you to have almost over 200 yards of rushing, in a game and not be able to win a football game. There's no excuse why you had some of these long plays that you were in the red zone and you weren't able to even get 3 points off of it. This is a recipe for getting beat. So hopefully next time that they come out there on the field, they come out here and they're a little bit more serious than I felt they were against the Eagles. And as far as the Eagles are concerned, a lot of people were writing these guys off. They were saying that they weren't as competitive. They didn't have the talent of that other Alcorn. And these guys took that personal, man. You had the coach coming out talking about the secondary and they were going to be up to the challenge. And those guys were, man. They were in the faces of those wide receivers for the Braves. They did not back down. And they did not give up on plays. The play that I just mentioned about the 68-yard run, that's a testament to how tough and how bad these Eagles wanted it. Now you have a team going into the season with a lot of momentum, and you have a team in Alcorn with a lot of unanswered questions. But I think both teams can be solid this season. I think the momentum of North Carolina Central, they can actually go into the season with this. And as far as Alcorn, I think this was a wake-up call to let them realize that they cannot take any game lightly, no matter who is on the schedule. But I would love to hear from you. What do you all think about the Alcorn State North Carolina Central game? Comment down below, like and share this video. Thank you so much for checking out the State of the SWAC podcast. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com, search the State of the SWAC podcast, and also on facebook.com, search the State of the SWAC. And you can check out episodes of the State of the SWAC on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Anchor FM. Till next time, all I got to say is